This is going to be a fun one. We're about to get a demo in the Vision Pro. And, I'm hot about the Apple Vision Pro and about spatial computing, but this lets you do some weird shit. It lets you draw in the air and make an app out of it. What the hell? Hi, Jacob.
Hello. How's
Hi
it
there.
going?
You're calling me from your Vision Pro.
Oh, yes. Can you see me? Can you?
I can see your
Did you?
Vision Pro. I can see what you're seeing. And
Wonderful.
you're the founder of Glowy. Tell me a little bit. Well, let's get a demo because I'm going to stick this demo into a longer interview where we go for it.
Yeah.
What are we seeing here?
So this is Globy. So basically, you can draw whatever you want to build. So Globy lets you develop pretty much a different type of software, but software that you can export to multiple programming languages, and you do it just by drawing on the screen, and it's pretty much apps from doodles. So well, we could say like, hey, can you create a website with something about San Francisco?
So you're
And
talking
then
to it and drawing to it. This is
yes,
clearly a bunch of AI watching what you're doing on the screen as well as what you're talking to it about.
yes.
This is
So
awesome.
let's see
This
if
is
it builds it.
magic, isn't it? Do you wake up in the morning and go, man, I'm developing magic?
Yeah, it's unbelievable. Oh, and you see, we got some bridges over here, right? So well, and that's pretty much you can build anything. You could make it functional. You could say like, hey, like but that's pretty simple right now.
Yeah.
And what's cool about this, right? So you can also translate it to multiple programming languages. So for example, you could do Swift UI, and Swift UI is Apple framework, right?
Yeah.
And then you get code that you could use to build this kind of like to build this creation and into like a iOS app or Vision Pro app even. And I would say this is kind of helpful, for people who, let's say, experienced in like web development, or like if you're a UX designer, right? And you have experience in some like front end frameworks maybe, so you could build exactly the same thing, but for iOS or Android. So we support Swift UI for iOS. Flutter is a cross-platform framework. iOS, Android, also web. And Kotlin is Android, and Next.js. This is like a professional level uh, uh, framework for web development. So,
This is
well, and
this is awesome. What
mhm.
kinds of things can you build with AI? I mean, you can go into some complex forms, couldn't you, if you're really good at drawing, I guess.
Yes. So yeah, basically, first step, figure out how to draw, right? And second step, now you could build software this way. But
Could you
full disclosure,
here's a
this
question.
is
Could I prototype somewhere else, like using one of the line drawing apps and bring that in
yes.
and start with that?
So yeah, over here we have like some like designs that we built in Figma, right? And
Yeah.
so we're gonna attach it here, and we're gonna ask Globy, can you please build this game menu, make it also functional, so when you press start button, something happens. So let's see if it works or not. Um, but I would say the state of development right now, that it's very good for prototyping, uh, or quick prototyping. Okay, so we get something. So when we click on it, doesn't really work. So well, but we have uh, the first version of our app, and now we could translate it to Swift. Um, and then let's say you copy the code and put it on Xcode, and for Android, it's like Android Studio. You download the project, right? And then
Yeah.
you copy the code into the project. There's like certain areas for Globy to where Globy allowed to write code, and that's how you build your app or a game. It's
So,
yeah, that's pretty
so this
much.
reminds me of a lot of visual, like Visual Basic. Visual Basic gave you a 2D form, and
Yes,
you could drag and put a button on the form, or a drop-down menu on the form, or a menu bar on the form, or a chart, or
yes,
a bunch of different things, right? Back
yes,
in the early days of building Windows apps. This you use your voice and you draw in the air, and then you can still stick code behind it. So it's almost like a Visual Basic app builder, but it's for the modern world where you're going to be wearing a
yes,
pair of glasses soon.
yes. I remember I was also, when I was a kid, I was building something using Visual Basic.
Yeah.
Uh, yeah,
Could you show
um,
us some
it's
other
it's kind of
things that you
similar.
built
So
with it?
we yes. So well, shall we then stop the demo on Vision Pro,
You can,
or
if you have them in
huh?
Vision Pro, you can show me what you got in Vision Pro. Otherwise, we can do an
Uh-huh.
interview. I mean, this is really cool. How if you're better at drawing, that it obviously gets better, doesn't it? Or
Yeah,
does it not
we could
matter
try
that
to build
much?
build something, maybe something else here. So the tricky part, right? So I also, if I were able to connect my computer here, I would be able to demo the whole workflow.
Yeah.
But because I am streaming this to my computer, it's so it's impossible to connect the monitor to Vision
Yeah.
Pro, sadly.
Yeah.
Right? So, well, but I have this pre-recorded too, so maybe we could do it another way.
Okay.
But maybe do you want to build something like maybe you could prompt it and I could draw it, or we can attach some
Oh, what
pictures
kind
so we
of
could.
app would I like to build? Well, let's
Yeah,
say we're
maybe something
working at
functional
Tesla
but simple.
Corporation and we need to build an app for the
Okay.
robo taxi. So could you
Okay.
build a app that says "Find me a ride," something like that? Find
Okay.
me a
Well,
Tesla that'll come to
how
my
to
house.
like app for Teslas, right? Or how
I
to
I'm
draw it?
just
What would you?
something like an Uber app, where you want
Uber.
to
Okay.
start out saying welcome, I don't know. What kind? Here's a question for you, since you've been working on this. What kinds of things does it really do well? What kinds of apps that do you
So
find it really
yeah.
does well with?
Currently, it's very simple, kind of like one-screen applications, but it also could be like functional. So, for example, you could build something like unit calculator, right, or any type of calculators. You could yeah, you could build some like menus where you just like
Yeah,
say,
let's build a
hey,
calculator.
if
That
you
that probably is easier for you to demo than a full blown Uber app, which requires maps and all sorts of fun
I,
things.
I don't know. Maybe so we could try. So
All
well,
right.
we cannot
Can,
predict, right? We cannot predict what the AI is going to generate for us. But
if you ask it, click
okay,
on a button and then pull up a map, could it
yeah.
pull up a map like from Google Maps?
Not yet, not
Okay.
yet, sadly.
Okay.
Yeah. So, but uh, so well, we could say like hmm, So yeah, definitely you need to learn how to draw,
Yeah.
right? So before you start coding, and this is the major technology shift. You know, uh, how about Tesla calculator? I don't know. Oh, uh, okay. Uh, Please build a functional Tesla calculator that calculates something interesting, like mileage. Right? Is it good?
Yeah.
So yeah, and we have this on Vision Pro, and obviously we have it on the web. So we also working on like Mac app and iOS app and Android app. That okay. So there's something. Uh, oh, okay. So AI thought that this is like not buttons but pictures, which is interesting. Can you see it?
Can you refactor, like if it gives you
Huh?
something wrong, like here it might not have been what you were dreaming of? Can you say, "Oh, I wasn't thinking
Yes.
about features. I was thinking about buttons with numbers on them that would let me click on the
Yeah, you could
buttons, you know?"
you could press edit here, right? And you could press edit, and you could say like, hey, uh, oh, okay, uh, these rectangles represents buttons, not pictures, right? And then okay, there's something, right?
Yeah, very different.
But yeah, and again, like as pretty much with interacting with any AI, so we kind of have to prompt it well. Oh, there we go, Tesla, right? So well, there's Tesla picture and some buttons, but there is no calculate button. Oh, just up. How do I dismiss it? Oh, there we go. Um, so well, and there's like a simple page, kind of like slash calculator about Tesla, right? And then we could switch it to other programming languages like Swift, and then
Yeah.
we copy paste it to Xcode and run exactly the same for like iOS app, right, or Vision Pro app, which is very interesting concept generally. So yeah, that's pretty much maybe um,
Yeah.
the demo for Vision Pro, right?
Yeah, that's fine.
So again, so just a second. Oh, okay. So well, and over here I have like this
You can stuff.
pre-recorded demos.
Okay.
Shall we do that as well?
Sure.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Okay. Just a second. Um, let's make it full screen, maybe. Just a second. Okay, so this is Globy. Globy is available on the web and on Vision Pro right now. So, and basically what it is, you just tell it whatever you want to build, and you draw, and then it gives you your first version of your app. It could be functional. In this example, you build a contact app with a functional search, and then you translate it to multiple programming languages. So specifically, you could build iOS app or like a Vision Pro app, for example, over here. Then you can translate it to Android using Kotlin, Or if you prefer, you could do it using Flutter. So Flutter cross-platform framework for good for rapid prototyping. So over here, it's like a news website. So what's cool about it, you could also solve lead code problems. I don't know, are you familiar with lead code?
Oh yeah.
So, well, you could just attach the like a picture of a lead code problem, or just describe it, and it will solve it for you. So over here, Globy can also create another version of Globy. So you could use our clone tool. So you can download Globy from the website, and basically you could deploy Globy to any hosting you like. Um, and this is like a Vision Pro demo that we also did live. So over here, it's like a simple recipe app that you could build. So well, and the idea is like super simple. You start with like one button, and you draw, and then you press build, and you get your prototype. So it's a pretty much V1 of this, right? And so we're working on improving it, increasing the complexity. But now it's very good for prototyping. It's very good to if you want to figure out and you want to see, you know, um, how to make those simple apps for like different platforms.
Yeah.
And then you can also ask follow-up questions over here. As you can see, there's you generate Swift, and then you press on this refresh button, and then you could say like, hey, there's an error, fix it, or like I don't like this button. That's also possible. So yeah, that's pretty much
Yeah.
Globy
That's
demo.
awesome. Who are you?
I'm Jacob. I'm a founder of Globom. So we are the creators of Globy. Globe is the first Jota code AI assistant for easy app creation. So if you want to develop an app, you talk to Globy. And basically, the way it works, you figure out how to draw, you draw whatever you want to build, you attach your designs, and then it exports to different programming languages. Um, so,
Yeah, it's
well,
really cool.
I, um, I was living in San Francisco for more than 10 years. I was a yeah.
It's really cool because you
Yeah,
draw.
I was living in San Francisco for more than 10 years. I was
Yeah.
Mhm. Yes. Yeah,
It's really
sorry.
cool because, and sorry, we're having a little latency because my thing's crunching the video.
Mhm.
Um, it's really cool because you're like HyperCard or Visual Basic or a Visual Studio for this new AI age where you can just draw on a form, talk to it, prompt it, and it builds it. It's freaking insane. Do you wake up in the morning and
Yeah.
think,
Okay.
I'm building magic?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I'm very very excited where all these like foundational models go, right? So, but also we're building Globy on the kind of like application layer, uh, and it kind of becomes more and more powerful every day. So now we have this web version that you go on the website, you do like you draw and it kind of builds it for you. uh and we have Vision Pro version. uh when I was just like building apps for myself, 15 years ago, I wish I could have these tools,
Yeah.
back then. But
The old way, I mean, if you go back to the 1990s when I worked at Visual Basic Programmers Journal, Visual Basic gave you a form with a toolbar, and then you would drag tools like a button or a drop down list or a data entry field, something
yeah,
like that, onto the form. Here, you're just drawing that and telling the computer to generate it,
yes.
right?
Yes, exactly. So, well, and this is kind of like simple by design, right? So we're working on democratizing software creation, and we've been around for quite a few years. And this year we've decided to build something like super simple, right? It's just like
Yeah.
one button tool max, and then it turns out this idea with like drawing whatever you want to build, it's fun, right? And it's possible to make something functional, um, using these like foundational models and some uh, rag and other stuff. Make it could make um, over time these generations will be more and more complex. I say so. Well, it's
Yeah.
it's very interesting. I wake up every morning, uh, to improve this technology, and I'm very excited about it. I'm
You're
pumped
you're really
every day.
yeah, you're really the best example I've seen of how AI is about to change, well, everything. Really, right? I mean, it's certainly changing how you can design applications and interact with them, right? Where do you think this world is going? 'Cause it's a great demo. You could do something very simple, but tell us, like, what
Yes.
is it going to look like in 5 years for people?
So I would say the foundational model is gonna get better and better, right? And every time there's like an update on like foundational models, it also gonna lift up a bunch of applications, including these like software development applications. And um, and again, like currently we support OpenAI, right? So and GPT-4o model, and on Vision Pro we have like Mistral-like model that works locally, which is kind of cool. But also our next update and is in next like months or so. So we're gonna support a lot of different models. So we're gonna give people choice, right? And there's also uh, there's some like techniques like RAG that kind of like adds multiple uh, additional context to what you're building. And for right now, our tool is just like good for quick prototyping, right? So just like within like 30 seconds, you could uh, build something interesting, right? And just like play with it, or like see how it works. Maybe ask Globif like follow-up questions. But I would say by the end of the year, right? And especially maybe 5 now, I would say you just will be able to wake up, think about your day, right? Or and Globi could will be able to create like a functional app, for example, for the day, right? So, for example, you have this all these things so like in your calendar, so you have like bunch of interviews. You could um and imagine, so like people currently they do they post like a social media, right?
Yeah,
Because it's like very easy and accessible. But what if people uh like pretty much everyone could build like a useful tool for the day, for the month, for year, and just share it with their friends. So, well, I think that's where it's going, if it makes sense.
yeah,
So you just like kind of like think about your tool, and then kind of Globy or like any other AI tool like gives you different options where you can swipe right, left and right, and like pick whatever you like, and then you get like fully functional uh kind of app, or like a fully functional software
yeah.
that kind of like in your context.
In the demo, we were
There's
building all
yeah,
sorts of
there's
different
some
kinds of
latest.
apps. Like we were able to build a calculator, right? Stuff like that. That's really cool.
Yes.
What's going on underneath the hood? What's doing all the work? Because clearly it's watching the
Yep.
screen, it's watching what you're saying, and then writing a lot of code and letting you build an app.
Yeah.
Tell me a little bit about what's going on underneath the
So yeah,
covers.
there's like two versions of Globi right now. So it's the current demo that we did. It's on Vision Pro, and they also have it on the web. So on Vision Pro, it's built using Swift UI, the like framework for building iOS and like Vision Pro apps. And also it uses GPT-4o, uh, and and also so if you GPT-4 is not available, it uses Mistral-like model, so it kind of like downloads the model from Hugging Face, right? And then kind of like it works without internet. So we just kind of interested, super interesting. It like fascinates me, how. Uh, but it turns out the Vision Pro, right? So it does have like M2 chip, right? Or so it's like
Yeah.
pretty powerful chip that it could run LLM locally, which is so cool. So, and I got this like LLM that like 4 GB, and it only can do like one instance. If it does the second instance, it kind of like crashes the whole thing. But but you see where we're going. So it's
Yeah.
it gets it's getting more and more powerful. So I would say Vision Pro, right? It's perfect V1 of uh spatial computing, right? So well, and um, I'm super interested to see what's gonna be in like 5 years.
Yeah.
Like I would
On
say,
On Monday,
mm,
Apple's announcing a new AI strategy. Everybody's expecting to see a new Siri. We're expecting to see
yeah,
a new version of the software that runs on these Vision Pros, right? A version 2 of the software.
yes.
You're a developer, so and you're really pushing this stuff harder than I've seen other people push it. What are you hoping for on Monday?
So well, if there's like a new foundation model or like new API, I'm definitely gonna be one of the first developers who supports this. So well, and um, and that's how we build our software, right? So we're an application layer, right? So well, and we would like the most comfortable position for our companies to be on the front wave, right? So um, and I hope Siri is going to become a little smarter, but maybe there's like a new API, maybe um, there's something new for like Vision Pro. Um, I don't know. How about you? What do you think
I'd
they're
like
gonna
to
present?
see I'd like to see you be able to build 3D applications, spatial computing
Yes.
applications like you
Yep.
know make the coffee table in front of me a football
Yes.
field and then do some stuff with that, put some buttons on
Yes.
it or something like that to let me control it. um, it'll be interesting to see where things go. I'm not too expecting really crazy stuff like that. Like you said, I'm hoping
Yeah.
they lay down a strategy for how we get to that world, right? Because that's
Yes.
what we really want to do is draw something. Hey, put a hydrant over here on the floor and put a tree here, right?
Yes.
And have it build it around you. That's what I call the holodeck, right? And we're clearly heading toward a 3D environment that we could talk to and do things like that. And that's where I would be real excited to watch
Yeah, I agree.
you work in that holodeck and build something really even more mind-blowing than drawing on 2D screens, a little user interface for a 2D application.
Yes.
I want to move the world into a 3D world, right? And so I'm hoping that
Yes.
people like you can build new 3D experiences very, very quickly using this kind of technology. Um, but yeah,
Yeah.
you know,
Yes.
you're
So
right.
well, I before moving to San Francisco, like 10 years ago, I was like an indie game developer. Actually, I built like 3D games before, and
Yeah.
I built like over 50 titles, and most of
Wow.
them failed. But I got two successful applications. So it was Glow Puzzle, a second game in America, and another successful game it was called Office Story. Office Story is like 3D business simulation, and what I'm excited about, I use these like models of these like Minecraft style characters, and I put it so I combine this with Jota code. So it's not released yet, but this is like one version that's kind of like I'm building under the hood. And
Yeah.
I have maybe this demo on Twitter, but basically you press the button and you have this like your AI agent as a 3D character kind of like shows up, right? And you could say like, hey, now you're an Android developer, and I put you in like in the kitchen or like in the bathroom, and I'll come back to you like in the like 30 minutes or like 6 hours, and you better build this thing like autonomously. And this is kind of like a next version of the Vision Pro adaptation for like the Jota code that I see. So it could be like the simulation environment, like, or maybe it could be like a startup simulation where you could build like a real software. So you build real software, but then you have like this simulated world in kind of 3D, right? So that you kind of learn how to market your software, maybe, how to uh, maybe how to raise funding for your startup, something like that. So it would be super cool. And um, we have already a lot of things uh, to use to build this world, but overall, it's getting better and better. Each major release from major companies. So well,
It's an
I'm
awesome
very
new
excited for
world
Monday.
that's coming. What does spatial computing mean to you? When you look at developing for the Vision Pro, how do
Yes.
you see that world, and how do you see it as different than computing that people are doing on a phone or on a laptop or something like that, 2D computing?
So well, I think it will be like more um like more convenient to build a lot of like different things, right? So well, um you can have like, if you're a developer, right? So you can have like a lot of different tools around you, like kind of like you could use to build your uh like uh apps, or I don't know, for like everyday people, it's it's uh it's very interesting already, right? So it's like Vision Pro is like V1, right? So, and it's not perfect yet, right? But also, if you remember 2008 iPhone, right? So well, it was maybe like 4 years until uh kind of like big businesses started to be built on top of like iPhone applications. It was just like a toy-like version of it for like 4 years. And I
Yeah,
would say uh Vision Pro could be in a similar category. So maybe like in 5 years, we'll have like more lighter version, more powerful version of special computing device that a lot of things could be possible. So right now, like on this version, right? So I could put 4 GB version of like foundational model in there, but maybe next version is gonna run like 30 GB, or like a bigger model,
yeah.
basically, and become like faster, and this screen will be like way better, and it's gonna be lighter. So well, but I think we gotta be patient, but maybe 5 years from now, it's gonna be uh the way is gonna be a little more different than today
Yeah.
from that perspective.
You do your demos drawing, and you're better at drawing than I am. My drawing is even worse than yours is, and yours is pretty bad. Can you bring in a screenshot from something like an Uber app or some app and say, "Hey, copy
Yes.
that," and then instead of calling it Uber, let's call it Tesla, something like that. Could
Yes.
you take an existing app and start working with it, or do you have to start with a sketch?
So yeah, you can attach your designs. So you could like bring a screenshot of the app, or let's say you would design something in Figma, right, or other design tools, and you can maybe screenshot it and give it to Globy, and Globy will work with it and do generate code for you. So yes.
That's awesome. Um, I, Tell me a little bit about the company and the business plan, because it's cool to build a demo, but
Yeah.
I assume you want developers to actually buy this and use this or license it or whatever. Tell me a little bit about the business and how that's going to go.
So well, yeah, currently we have a website, right? So you sign up there, and that's how you start your um, your software development journey. So we target regular people. So, and that's kind of the onboarding part, right? So the demos, but you could build already pretty complex applications. So if you dig deeper, like read the documentation, and kind of Globy it explains the code that it generates. So because it's full disclosure, it's like a V1, right? So well, and we do have uh, there's some lack in the guidance and documentation maybe. So well, but we are working on the next versions where you'll be able to generate fully functional projects, uh, just starting in like super basic uh, input, with drawing or attaching your designs. So, and the company, so we've been around for quite a few years. So we have 4 great investors. So we raised a little bit of money. So we're very capital efficient. We have 3 people, so and a bunch of AI tools. So we are kind of a small team. And yeah, so well, we are in San Francisco. So our headquarters in Nob Hill.
Yeah,
Um, oh yeah, that's pretty much Global. So I wake up every day and work on Globy.
that's cool. What are what are you learning about AI and how it works differently than like the Visual Studio days, right? Or whatever tools you were using to build 2D apps, uh,
Yes.
or build apps that didn't use AI. What are you learning about building apps this way, the computer science behind it?
So well, I think you know what's different. Let's say if in 2024 versus like 2023 for our company, is that I was actually, so we had like a slightly different product last year. It was kind of like it wasn't drag and drop, but it was like a couple of blocks that you kind of like mix together, and then we just like realized that we over engineering things and not showing not demoing the product enough. And in 2024 we just like simplified this using uh large language models, right? And I started doing almost daily demos, so it's like 5 demos a week. And I would say that's how we got like an influx of new users who never ever thought that they will be able to build software, right?
Yeah.
Uh, and yeah, and I think that's kind of like the impact of like AI tools or like foundational models for our company. So I've decided to start demos on like almost daily basis, right? And I started like simplifying things as kind of like lowering the uh, entry barrier for like almost everyone who are interested in this topic, right? And I'm uh, because I'm a builder myself, so I was a founding team engineer in 2 startups in Silicon Valley and like indie game developer before. So it kind of like changed my life, like working on software, and it's kind of like a superpower, right? To be able to code something, and we bring in this superpower to everyone. So well, that's our mission.
I love the mission, and that's why I'm talking to you. I want more
Thank you
superpowers
for
for
inviting.
human beings, and AI certainly lets us bring that. Um, what have you learned ways to talk to the AI that work better than other ways? For instance, my friend Dylan talks about emotionally blackmailing the LLM and sort of saying, "Hey, if you don't get this app correct, I'm going to get fired tomorrow," something like that. All of a sudden, it gives you a better answer than if you just ask it for build me an app, right?
Yeah. Uh, like we've done a lot of experimentations behind the scenes. So well, and now we have this like new version coming up that gonna support different foundational models. Gemini. It's almost done, so we're gonna. But there's no date to announce, but it's coming soon, and Anthropic, like Mistral models. So well, and what's recently interesting thing that I built, it's kind of like a debate app that you set a debate topic, and GPT-4o kind of debates Gemini, and just yeah, I'm going to Brazil this summer, right? And I was just like, oh, like, shall I go to Brazil or to Europe? And GPT-4o was advocating for, or like Globi powered by GPT-4o was advocating for Brazil, and Gemini was advocating for Germany. And it's kind of like it's very interesting what you could do, right? So well, but also like from a technical standpoint, right? So there's also what we're playing with is just like RAG, where you get like uh context of your project. So let's say uh we are like we're not building the foundational models, right? So but we are using pretty much everything, and we're playing with everything in our um um kind of like I would think of all these like foundational models, so like maybe databases, right? And we're building something on top of databases, and all this like code that we built like over the years, so we could kind of like put it uh and kind of argument the like data models, with the mission to make not just like quick prototypes, but actually fully functional software that you could use in I don't know, production maybe, or uh, but it all kind of like takes time, right? And all this like foundational models kind of being built, they compete with each other, and we using everything. So well, we're trying to like catch up, and I would say that's why um, I really like being like on the like frontier of like on the front wave of technologies, and I was doing this for like in 2008 for iPhone, right? uh I'm doing this like I'm very excited about Vision Pro and this like 3D world that I could build, right? um yeah, and with AI, just like our goal is like to use whatever is like coming up, like new update from the foundation models, and like play with like new techniques and try to make sense of it, and like use it in our context. So
It's been awesome
it's really
talking
interesting
to you
world
and
that we live in.
getting a look. I love your demos. I've been seeing them on X for a long time, and it's just fun to be able to draw and talk and have something built. We should check in after WWDC again and see, okay, what, did something there catch your eye, or were you disappointed, or were you happy? Because you're the front line of the Vision Pro developers. You're one of those people who's pushing it hard, and I appreciate that a lot. Where do we learn more about you and your company?
So well, I started being active on Twitter in 2024. So it's Jacob Ilin. My last name reads like LLM, but that's ILIN. So well, and the company is Globom. It's globom.com, and the AI engineer that we build in is Globi. So if you want to develop an app, you talk to Globi and find us on Twitter. I do almost daily demos.
Love you and keep it up. And I can't wait to see what you build over the next few years, because you're really a creative dude and I appreciate talking to you. I could talk to you about
Thanks so much
AI
for inviting.
for hours about what you're learning and what you're
Thank you.
building.
Yeah,
And
I'm down. So well, yeah, feel free to invite me next time so we could discuss.
absolutely, I'll definitely be watching you and keeping you up as part of this show. Thank you so much. And
Thank you for having.
I appreciate it.